At a time when energy stories are always in the news, it's really relevant that we catch up with Frank Calabria, the CEO of Origin Energy. Well, Frank, thanks for joining us.
No, good to be here, Pete.
So Origin delivered a fairly strong result full year. So what is the picture for 2020?
Yeah, so we've got, for 2020, we've got a few things going on. We've got two strong cash flow generating businesses right now, integrated gas business and energy markets. This year we look to actually increase production at our APLNG venture. We're really moving our energy supply that's changing to this rapidly changing world with renewables coming in.
Yeah.
And the third thing is we're really improving customer experience and responding to the re-regulation of tariffs through cost out. So we're looking to deliver that in our retail business.
Okay. So Frank, tell us what Origin does nowadays.
Yeah, sure. So Origin's really an energy business that operates right across the value chain. We produce gas, we export that and sell that within Australia. We have over 4 million customers for electricity, natural gas, LPG, and also solar. And we actually produce a lot of that energy through renewables, coal, gas-fired generation. So we certainly operate right across the chain.
Yeah, and over time, will renewables be a much more reliable and giving input to the whole electrical and energy scene?
Well, renewables is rapidly growing, and in fact last year there was a significant amount of new renewables coming in to supply energy.
Yeah.
Solar and wind are the two principal forms that really provide that. But one of the features associated with those two forms of energy is that they rely on both wind and sun respectively.
Yeah.
And as a result, there's also a need for them to be supported by other forms of generation that can respond when they're not available.
Yeah.
And so the combination of those things will be reliable, but it does require those other forms of generation. That'll be fast start gas, pumped hydro, and clearly longer term there'll also be the role that batteries will play.
Yeah.
But yes, it's that combination that needs to be brought together to make it reliable and secure.
Now, I know this is a hard question, but if anyone can answer it, it would be you. How long do you reckon before batteries become a valuable contributor?
Yeah, they're an early days contributor now. When we look at the cost curve of those batteries, they're coming down. And just like 10 years ago we saw the solar cost, and now we see it today, it's come down dramatically. We see a lot of those cost curves. We really do think it'll be over that sort of next 3 to 5 years that you'll see it coming in. But really the role batteries play is that they really move energy around, and they really discharge reasonably rapidly. I mean, we're talking hours, not days and weeks. So they'll be part of the solution, but they won't be the only solution that come alongside those renewables.
Okay, now you reinstated dividends. So what does this mean for shareholders going forward?
Yeah, it's a good time for us. I mean, for the last, we've only reinstated them in the last 12 months. We've been reducing debt over the last several years, and I think we reduced debt by close on $3 billion over the last 3 years. So we introduced dividends this year, 25 cents a share overall, and we've announced a distribution policy, about 30% to 50% of our free cash flow, and we look to be able to pay at the high end of that range. So it's a good outlook for dividends for shareholders.
Okay. This seems like a tricky question, but what are the risks to your business as government intervention to the industry obviously increases?
Yeah, I think, well, in our industry, like many other industries which are subject to regulation, we're working with governments all of the time. Governments have actually got involved more recently to address particular aspects of the industry, and we work productively with them on this. I think the key thing for us going forward now is that they're underwriting investment, they're directly investing, like in Snowy 2.0, they're underwriting some of the more generation investment. The key aspect for us is the coordination of that so that it actually comes together for the best outcome for customers. And for us, the main thing is that we actually therefore get the right supply of energy at the right time that brings affordable, reliable energy to our customers.
It seems like an unbelievably complex job because there's so many moving parts. And of course, you've got political demands and customer demands at the same time.
Yeah, I think really our focus really starts with the customer because you really must produce good outcomes, and customers are looking for affordable energy. They want reliable supply over hot summers, and at the same time they're looking for a trajectory over time where they would like to see emissions reduce. It's that combination that creates the complexity with those various technologies coming in. But I really, with a firm sight on customers, I think that's where it all starts, and then it's up for us and governments and other regulators to come together to produce those outcomes.
So how are you positioning the company Origin for the changing energy market?
Yeah, well, first we've highlighted that change earlier, and we're positioning the strategy and the direction of the company to really thrive in that future changing world, and that probably comes down to a few key areas. Firstly, growing the amount of renewable energy we bring into our portfolio. We've certainly grown that dramatically over the last several years, and by the end of 2020, we'd have 25% of our capacity renewables. We have to continue to make sure we run our existing fleet of generation assets for that reliability. We have to actually get that right, and so that's what we're really focused on, making sure we manage that transition. The second thing is that gas plays an increasing role. It plays an increasing role for electricity, but also exporting gas to Asia is actually displacing coal and improving emissions. And we will grow production over the course of the time with APLNG and continue to deliver outcomes. And we'll be exploring for more gas, including in the Beetaloo and Northern Territory. And the last thing really is that you'll know every day the way people are interacting with energy and the empowerment of that. Really, as that becomes more, whether it's a battery in your home or you've got solar PV, and increasingly the digital world is changing that, we're really investing in those technologies to make sure we can change that customer experience. We see those as the key three sort of themes across the future energy world that we're positioning ourselves for.
Okay, so talking about the Beetaloo Basin.
Yeah.
So what are you expecting to find?
Yeah, well, we're excited to be back because there's been a moratorium, and following a scientific inquiry, which we were pleased to see the outcomes have supported us back. And we're back now drilling 2 wells, 2 large horizontal wells. We've actually what they call spudded, so we've commenced the drilling in October of the first well. And this is a vast area, just to be clear. It's sort of 8,500 square kilometres, so we're talking about a vast area. So the prospects are significant, but there's a wide range of those outcomes when you would do exploration. So we'll know the first results of the first well by the last quarter of this financial year 20. It's early days because of those wide range of outcomes, so in terms of talking production. But the reason why it's received some attention is really the vast nature of it, and we're producing what they call liquids-rich wells, which go to really the economics of actually producing gas at a cheaper price because you get the benefit of those. And the prospect of that is that we're bringing cheaper gas into the domestic market.
Do we know how much gas is there, or is it purely speculation that there could be fantastic surprises, decade after decade?
We don't know exactly, because this is always the subsurface science. We did drill a well prior to the moratorium that showed even in one small area there was, we reported to regulators at that time, we saw over 6 TCF of gas, which is a significant amount of gas. So the prospects are very large for this, but no one exactly knows, which is why you do this drilling. And the key aspect with this is also it has the prospect of liquids. By that I mean petroleum liquids that would come out of the wells as well. So that's one of the great opportunities with this.
It's really exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting, and we're looking forward to it.
Frank, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, Peter.
That's Frank Calabria from Origin Energy.